Hello, 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 everyone. What's going on? It's your girl D here with your vitamin D for free. I have a really great and interesting topic this morning to share with you that I was ranting, well, not really ranting. I was just kind of rambling about in my stories. So if you watch my stories, you kind of know, you have a clue of what I'm going to talk about. But I wanted to go live so that we can have a open discussion and some understanding because I'm on my women's health kick this week. So praise the Lord for that. All right, so today we're going to talk about, I'm just going to give you some fitness and wellness advice, okay, when it comes to premenopause, menopause, perimenopausal women. I got a great question in my inbox this morning, and it was asking, the lady said she had a hysterectomy last year, and the weight gain has been astronomical. Okay. Immediately, I was like, sis, I understand what you're saying. And she was like, what is your advice when it comes to that? So I had to sit down and be like, okay, let me put my trainer hat on, but also my homegirl hat on, because the last thing you want to do is a trainer give you this generic advice and you're like, girl, you don't hear a thing that I say, because that's the worst. And before I get started, I do want to tell you I am not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Y'all want me to be one so bad, but I am not a doctor. I'm just a trainer for 21 years who've been working with black and brown women around the clock with 20,000 plus hours of experience. That's all I got, but I do not have a medical degree. All right. So I always am going to tell you the caveat is please always go talk to your general practitioner, go talk to your OB, go talk to your whoever, okay? First, before you implement any of these things, to make sure that it's safe for you and to make sure it makes sense with your treatment plans or whatever area of life that you're in. So I'm going to flow through these quickly. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the chat. If I don't have the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't have the answer. I'm going to tell you to go check with your doctor. If it's an answer that I can research and it's within my scope of expertise, then I will answer it and go from there. Good morning, Annie. Okay, let's get into it. Number one, I want to tell y'all, hey, Kenyatta, I want to tell y'all, like I did in my previous video, that going through the natural cycles of life is not bad. Okay? We just get to adjust, relearn, and reframe the area of life that we're in. So the first step, the first thing that I told her and that I'm going to share with you is that you got to reframe what fitness and wellness looks like for you according to your why. Okay? Reframe what fitness and wellness looks like to you according to your why. You might say, D, what does that mean? That means prior to the hysterectomy, prior to the menopause, prior to the premenopause, prior to the fibroids that you had to get taken out, prior to the partial hysterectomy, prior to having the kids and having medical complications. Prior to that, your experience was different than it is now. Is that true? If you think that's true, I need you to put it in the comments, okay? So we can have get it in your head, because it's hard for women to understand that life is different than it was yesterday, or life is different than it was a year ago, or before the surgery, or before the kids, okay? You got to reframe it. In my opinion, and what I've learned over these 21 years, specifically over these last 10 years, is that your fitness program or your well-being experience needs to be carefully crafted according to your life, according to your why, according to your purpose. Okay? Maybe before menopause or before the hysterectomy or before the PCOS diagnosis, before the endometriosis diagnosis, before that, you could go to the gym and you could lose 10 pounds. You could go run, in 2 weeks you're in shape. You could change your diet. You could just be, you could barely eat, and then your body just snaps like that. Your first kid, snap back. Babes, it might be different now. And so, according to whatever God has called you to do in this season of your life, if it's parenting, if it's entrepreneurship, if it's being a spouse, if it's being single and being awesome, if it is being a caretaker, you have to reframe what is fitness and wellness doing for me according to my why and according to my life. The reframe. Not being stuck in the past like, I remember when I was in 26, I was in my best shape. I remember before my first baby, I was snatched. I bounced back in 6 weeks. Y'all, the reframe is going to be the first step to your success when you're experiencing premenopausal and menopausal symptoms, changes in your body and changes in your life. So the reframe, if you would put reframe in the comments or write reframe down, just reframe it, reframe it. I had to reframe prior to my injuries, prior to my back injuries, prior to my knee injuries. I had to honor my body at that time. You honor what your body took you through in the past. And you also say, moving forward, I'm now going to grow into my best self according to what God has called me to do. So that's number one. Number two, that I told her my advice, and y'all gonna hear this in pretty much all of my videos when it comes to fitness, is that you gotta resistance train 2 to 3 times a week, ladies. And when I say resistance train, that means having your body weight go against itself, or you're picking up weights and moving it somewhere else outside of your body. Okay? So whether that is Pilates, whether that's traditional weight training, whether that is kettlebells, whether that is gardening, picking things up, putting it down, you got to resistance train 2 to 3 times out the week, non-negotiable. And I'm going to tell you why. Why, especially why this is important when you are going through premenopause and menopause. Estrogen, when your estrogen is dropping during this cycle of life, you lose up to 20% of your bone density. Let's get into it. That's just a hormone changes, and I tell y'all that just from hormone changes after 30, you start to lose your muscle mass. This is just hormone changes. And it doesn't matter what you think. You might think it's not you. It's going to happen to everybody. That's why we need to lift weights, ladies. Even to the ladies who, nigga, I ain't done nothing my whole life. I ain't that. And guess what? It's never too late. You better get into it. So we want to lift weights 2 to 3 times a week. If you don't know what to do, go hire a trainer. Because it's that important. The thing about it is what is the price versus the cost of not doing this? The price might be $50 a session, but the cost of you not lifting weights and resistance training right now may be osteoporosis that can't be reversed. It might be being more at risk for falls and a poor quality of life if you don't do it. You see, you see that I'm not talking about how you look even right now. I'm talking about long-term quality of life. So the reason why you want to lift weights is because it's going to increase your muscle mass. Increasing your muscle mass is the key to increasing your metabolism. I get these inboxes all the time. How do I increase my metabolism? My metabolism is so slow. How do I increase as a trainer, what I hear is you need to gain more muscle, because it's true. Also, resistance training helps with the bone density. Like I said, if you get your labs and whatnot, they tell you your bone density, and the doctor probably goes right around a circle about your bone density. Good morning, Tanika. Good morning. Good morning, Kay. Okay, so that's why we're doing this. Y'all, I don't care how busy you are. I love you so much. I don't care if you got everything going on. You're not going to be able to do it when you get older if you are not resistance training. And it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to go do it. Okay? You gotta be able to pick up 10 pounds. You gotta be able to pick up 20 pounds. Period. So really, that's what we're doing. Premenopause, menopause. You gotta prioritize it. Period. Point blank. With that resistance training, you got to eat your protein. You need to start your day with protein every single morning. Every morning. Not with cereal. not with oatmeal, not with a bagel, not with toast. Protein, because protein by itself, even if you choose after you watch this video and you say, D, I'm not ready to lift weights yet, I don't have time, etc., etc., you got time to eat, because you're going to do that. That's why most of us where we are right now, because we had a lot of time to eat and a lot of time to think about it. Okay, start your day with protein. The reason that we start our day with protein is because it sets the pace of our hunger throughout the day, and it also promotes muscle growth. Even separately from lifting weights, if you increase your protein, you will increase your muscle mass, which will therefore help support an increase of your metabolism. Okay? Pairing that with lifting weights or doing some type of resistance training increases your bone density. You want to do that. Now I want to talk to the ladies who have had children. When you were pregnant with that child, and if you breastfed that child took the vitamins and minerals that it needed to develop. And if that mean it needed to take the calcium out of your bones and now you have brittle bones because you had that child, guess what? It was going to do that. And so a lot of you guys were already struggling with bone density from having the children. So you got to start doing it now. Okay? You got to start doing it now. I love y'all. And stop being bald-headed. Okay? So resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. Eating your protein. You want to shoot for half of your body weight in grams of protein daily, a major key. The hack to make this happen is for you to pretty much eat the same things every day. And you might say, well, D, I don't like eating the same things every day. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you eat the same thing every time you go to Chick-fil-A. When you go to Food Sacklers, you eat the same thing, you get to go Food Sacklers. Every time you go to Popeye, you get the same thing, you get the same size, so don't tell me what you can't do. I love you so much. But you got to go do that. Meal prepping is a major key, and just identifying what are your favorite foods and how much protein is in them. Make sure you put that into your diet. That is a major, major, major key. All right. Next on the list, there's something I forgot, but anyways, next on the list is cardio. This is important because exercise is already a stressor on the body. If you start off going too hard, that can increase your cortisol levels in your body and you can hold midsection fat. What we want to do during this process, especially as you are going through premenopause and menopause, is to reduce your stress levels. And I'll talk later about that. So when you're doing your cardio, I highly, highly, highly recommend starting with walking. Walking is great because it's safe for most people, okay? You can pretty much do it without your appetite increasing. And if you keep your heart rate between 120 and 130, you'll stay in a fat burning zone. In my opinion, I think walking outside is the key to all of this, so that you get your vitamin D and it boosts your mood. So that you get your vitamin D and it boosts your mood, and so that you get your vitamin D and it boosts your mood. Okay? That's the key right there. Now, I noticed that I didn't say walking for weight loss, like body weight loss. Walking is great for body fat loss, and it's important to remember that walking does not burn a lot of calories though. You could walk for an hour, maybe you burn 350 calories, maybe 400. If you have a bigger body, maybe 500. But if you have a Coke and a Reese's peanut butter cup, you could have that Reese's peanut butter cup, 250 calories. You had them 2 cups. You can eat that in 60 seconds. So you really have to monitor what you put into your body if you are doing the walking. Now, the cardiovascular health is very important, especially when it comes to walking, because walking pounds the pavement. And when you pound the pavement, it creates small fractures in your bone. And when you're in your recovery, when you're resting, it fuses your bones back even stronger. So that's why we want to do a resistance type cardio, a resistance type lifting weights, is because it creates those little fractures that increase your bone density. Okay, so cardio is supportive also in your circulation. A lot of the women we find, let's just say we do line dancing or whatever, in class, and I get the people moving. I get them walking outside, or because we have a class that's a walk it out class. We do that. What I find is that a lot of them have to go home and go to the bathroom. Why? Because that circulation helps your gut health. The circulation is going to help your brain health. The circulation is going to help your sexual health. Okay. The circulation is everything. It helps to move around the cholesterol. If you have high cholesterol, the circulation of walking helps to lower your blood pressure. Drinking the water helps to lower your blood pressure. I can just keep going on and on about this outside of weight loss. Okay, so that's number 3. I talked about the protein. Protein is a major key with that. Next, we have stress management. Okay. Have you ever met a really thin person, or a person that you perceived to be very healthy, and they get a report from the doctor, and the doctor says that they have high cholesterol, high blood pressure? Have you? I remember experiencing that, and I was like, how is this? How? They're small because we still think big bodies mean unhealthy, and little bodies mean more healthier than big bodies, which is not true. Okay. When you are stressed, not only are you more at risk for things like stroke and heart attack, but literally you walk into a stressful meeting, in 2 seconds your body releases cholesterol into your blood. It doesn't, you don't have to eat bad. You could be eating leaves. You could be vegan. You could be a clean vegan. You could be, what? But if you are a highly stressed person, immediately high cholesterol. If you are in a relationship that is not serving you and it's just high stress, you probably have high cholesterol. And what goes with that? High blood pressure. And what ends up going with that? Diabetes. What ends up going with that? You got to get something amputated. It's the progression of it all. It just is what it is, y'all. So that stress management is key. And if you're perimenopause, premenopause, menopausal, you're at the age group where it is pivotal and important for you to start to siphon your community and your tribe to see, are they stressing me out more than edifying my life? Same thing for you. Am I stressing my circle out more than I'm edifying my circle? Because it's literally killing you. At your big age, going through menopause, you got to start managing your stress. Going to therapy, being around people who feel like sunshine is a major, major, major key. Stress management also, if you're getting into exercising, finding an exercise regimen that's easy to start, that's challenging, but doesn't cause too much stress. From there, you will expand your capacity to do more difficult things. And then your cortisol levels won't respond like they would if it was super stressed out. Okay? I want to really quickly go back to resistance training because I want to give you a practical thing with this. The reason why you also want to resistance train if you are dealing with type 2 diabetes is because, particularly if you are lifting weights with your legs, squats, deadlifts, etc., is if you're dealing with diabetes or you are pre-diabetic, when how do I explain it without being like super extra? If you have a lot of blood sugars floating around in your body, when you are moving your legs, which your quads are the biggest muscle in your body, when you're moving that, your muscles grab that sugar and then it levels out your blood sugar. So that's why you want to lift weights. The bigger your muscles or the more effective that they move, the better you can regulate your blood sugar. That's what you want to do it. So if you're struggling with diabetes, and I don't know why I'm talking so much about diabetes, pre-diabetes or diabetes, for your kids too, some of y'all kids are pre-diabetic, lifting weights for them, drinking water, eating their protein, regulating that blood sugar so you don't have crazy insulin spikes, okay? If you are a sedentary person that is struggling with prediabetes or diabetes, you can simply sit at your desk like I'm sitting right now and do calf raises, right? Go up on your toes, back down, up on your toes, back down. The calf muscle is also a really big muscle that uses the blood sugars in your body, and it'll grab that and level out your blood sugar. So I just wanted to give you that little tip practically so that we can do better when it comes to that. Next, if you're in menopause, premenopause, you've had your hysterectomy, partial hysterectomy, or whatever. If your doctor put you on hormone therapy and you directly went to the doctor for that, you're like, I feel like not myself. I'm having hot flashes. I'm literally going to have to buy another mattress because of these night sweats. If you're finding that you have a lot of midsection fat, your moods are crazy, hormone therapy, stay on your freaking hormones. Stay on the freaking hormones. Because the hormone therapy is not just making you feel better or look better, but also there are certain hormone therapies that help with bone density. Okay? That's the major key right there. It's not just about so you don't have night sweats. It's not just about hot flashes. It's about the long-term implications of having lower estrogen levels. Okay? So stay connected to your doctor. Ask the questions. Ask really, really good questions. The better questions you ask, the better answers you get. Okay? Still doing your part. Now, if you're a girly who are like, I don't like to take medicine, that's fine. But you also need to be very, very proactive in holistic options. I'm not a herbalist, so I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is about fitness, well-being, mindset. That's all I got. So you have to find somebody else for that. But stay on your hormone therapy. I literally watched one of my friends not take it versus take it, and in a week she like a whole different person. When I say she wasn't holding on to that water weight, her mood went up, her performance in exercise went up, and I'm pretty sure like it increased her mood, her bone density was getting better. And she's able to move around better, feeling good in her clothes, tucking her shirt in, honey. Okay, we love to see it. So the hormone therapy, and this is the last one. This is the last one. This is really, really, really big. One of the things that we learn as trainers and also with my degree in physical education, we learn as people age, you go from when you're a newborn, you need a community to keep you alive, right? And then you transition to kind of like self-reliance. And then as we progress to end of life, community is back important, okay? That's why you hear me say community is medicine, community is medicine, community is medicine. A lot of our elders pass away because they don't have a community, they don't have hope, they die from a broken heart. Okay, community is everything. It's very important for women who are dealing with menopause, premenopause symptoms. If you have gotten the fibroids, the endometriosis, the PCOS, cancer, all of that stuff, it's important for you to get into community with people who understand your story. That's part one. But also, the people who understand your story and hold you accountable for your wellness, your well-being, your self-care. Because you by yourself, you think that you wouldn't do self-destructive things, but sometimes you don't understand when you're moving towards habits or situations that don't serve you, you think that's in your best interest. But when you get into a community of people who say, girl, I know you having hot flashes right now. I know you don't feel good. I know your bones might hurt, but have you prioritized your rest today? You haven't gone to the bathroom? Did you drink your water today? Your hair falling out? Have you been taking your vitamins? Did you take your blood pressure medicine today? That's what you need that community for, especially when you're going through those body changes. And if you choose to get a trainer, and I say this with my whole chest, you need to get a trainer who will listen, or a coach or whatever, who will listen but also challenge you and hold you accountable for what you're supposed to be doing. Menopause and premenopause and perimenopause is not a death sentence. Having a hysterectomy or partial hysterectomy is not a death sentence. I don't care if you gained 30 pounds around your midsection and your booty got flat, still, it's important for you to get into that community and all the things I talked about. Reframing your fitness and wellness, your mindset, resistance training, your cardio, eating your protein, stress management, hormone therapy, getting community. All of those are still so very important regardless of what you're going through. And you notice that I did not mention, girl, you gonna look better, girl, you gonna get a fat butt, girl, you gonna tone up. I didn't mention that because first things first is your wellness and your well-being, longevity and quality of life. That's why you do everything. And guess what? When you start to take care of all of these things, then those things start to take care of you. And you start to feel better. And you start to have your self-confidence. And when you incorporate those things, and when you start to incorporate those things, you start to build your self-confidence back. Because what ends up happening when your hormones change is that you feel like you're losing yourself. You don't know who you're looking at in the mirror anymore because you feel like you don't look the same, you don't feel the same, your body's operating different, people might be talking about you, you're like, who am I? But when you are prioritizing yourself and doing the things that I mentioned and really digging deep, then your confidence goes up in yourself and you say, you know what? I kept my word to myself, and it doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what I go through. I kept my word to myself. And when you keep your word to yourself, I really believe in my heart of hearts that you're keeping your word to God. And when you keep your word to God, He's going to do the rest for you. All right? So I feel like that was long-winded, but I hope that it helps somebody. I hope that it encourages you, women, and men. If you're going through your own thing too, and I don't know what that's called. Okay, whatever men go through, I don't know what that's called, but the same is for you. The same is for you. I want to see us all grow together. So I love you dearly. Let's all be well and healthy together. And that is your vitamin D for free. Love y'all. Be blessed. Bye. Thank you, Derek.